Hello and welcome to this amazing edition of Page by Page, showing only on Rumi Royal Television. My name is Gratitude and this is still the Hot Topic segment where we talk about the happenings across the state and also connect with us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and X. And this amazing morning, I'm not doing this alone. I have my amazing co-host with me, Chioma. Chioma, how are you doing today?
Great. Well, not so great, but great then again. My name is Chioma, and we have an amazing guest today.
Yes, we do have an amazing guest. And by the way, you look really amazing. So you know how we do this every morning. We have an amazing personality, a media personality that you're very familiar with, in person of Mr. Prince Chilaka, a political analyst. You're welcome this morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very fine.
You're looking good.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I see you guys, you're not Nigerians. You're not in Nigeria at all.
We are.
We are. Okay, diving right into the conversation of today, we're talking about the insecurity and banditry that has put so much pressure on Nigerians. So it was reported that heavily armed bandits drove to Katsina town and handed over the remains of General Rabe Abubakar yesterday morning and left into a neighboring forest at Matazu, Unchallenged. And right now, it is incredibly jarring and heartbreaking to read. The sheer nerve of these criminal elements to march into a major town, return the remains of an highly decorated retired military officer, and then simply stroll back into the forest without any form of confrontation. It cuts deep. Now, the question is, why the failure to intercept? How did heavily armed truck enter and exit a major town completely unchallenged by nearby security forces?
You know, you're asking a question as if you're not in this country. You're asking a question as if you just came out of space and you're not used to the way insecurity has become a way of life in Nigeria. Let me tell you, first of all, I feel so upset. I feel so bad. I feel that we've gotten to that stage in life where the life of a Nigerian has no value.
Mm-hmm.
And I say with all sense of responsibility that how can a government, like you said, a highly decorated, you know what it means to become a Major General?
Major General.
Highly decorated in the den of captives, in the den of ragtag, so to say. And the Katsina state government issues the most press release, most annoying, a press release that has no empathy, a press release that has nothing to offer. It's telling us that a major general, a deed of natural cause. It didn't occur to them to think out of the box. If this major general was not kidnapped and held hostage or held captive, wouldn't he have gone to get his medication and seen his doctor?
Most definitely.
And so you're telling us, because we are all stupid in this country, because we have no common sense, because we have leaders who think that the people are, you're telling us that the man natural cause. So let us forget it. And unfortunately, Nigeria has moved on. Nigeria has moved on.
You just adapt.
And that's why I keep saying, every day you wake up from sleep, pray that Nigeria doesn't happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's talking about it. Yes. The government could not even say, let us fly our flag at half-mast. Because if you do that, you will also give the soldiers in the battlefield some sense of belonging, some motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody is doing anything. And then to now add salt to the injury. Came all the way from wherever they claim to be hiding and brought it. and handed over to the state government.
The audacity.
You know, it reminds me of what happened a few months back when the commissioner of police was, I think it was also in Katsina, which state. And the bandits said they were coming for negotiation, and they told government officials and security personnel nobody should wear uniform. But one of them, one of the leaders of the bandits, wore the uniform of the commissioner of police to negotiating table. And then we keep asking, what do these people want? I've had people so stupidly come out to say, when they were having problem with the Niger Delta, when the Niger Delta militants were operating, they did some form of an arrangement to settle them. Amnesty, yes. And then I ask, when the Niger Delta militants were operating in the Niger Delta, were they going about taking people's lands? Were they going about people and killing them? Two different issues, but you want them to look like the same. While we're talking about this, while we're talking about the pain of Nigerians living in IDP camps, because these people who are living in IDP camps, they have their ancestral homes. Their ancestral homes have been taken over.
Yeah.
And nobody's doing anything to take them back to their ancestral homes. So while we're busy saying that there are ragtag individuals who are going about killing and kidnapping people, the Burundi government have come out to tell you that they have rehabilitated. They have radicalized about 700 back into the society. And then, you know, you ask yourself, you just say, I can get up tomorrow, pick up one or two persons, and then I'll go and say I've repented. And the government will say, okay, I've repented. And then they give me the Bible to swear with that I've repented, and they ask me to go. But those that have killed their family members, those that have killed their source of livelihood, their future, that have everything that has to do with them, nobody's talking about it. Nigerians are living in IDP camps, not because they don't have a home, but because some people feel that it is their right to chase them out of their ancestral homes. So as far as I'm concerned, this government has failed. It's like Nigeria is an autopilot. We don't seem to have a government. We don't seem to have a government that, you know, believes in the sanctity of life and believes in the protection of the lives and properties of the Nigerian people.
I was going to ask, in a sane society, if it had been in a sane Nigeria, what would have been the right steps that would have been taken if someone of this caliber had?
Okay, let me take you down memory lane. If you remember a few months, I would rather say a few months back, when some army officers said they were on a peace mission in, I think I'll try and remember the village, in the south. And they were, and the army went berserk.
Yes.
They leveled everything they could see, arrested the chiefs, and took them into custody. When President Obasanjo was there, we saw what happened in Zakibiam. But I asked myself, do we still have the same military that we had in those days? Do we still have the same military that you and I will see on the street and will begin to shiver? When I was growing up, when I was much, much younger in secondary school, when you see police van, you run.
Yeah.
You run. But today you see police van, you see area boys will stand and say, what's going on? They can't even arrest them. You see policemen on the street, you don't even know what kind of color of uniform they are wearing. You see your military today, your soldiers, your army, your military personnel. Because the military is known for discipline, orderliness, transparency. Today you see your military men escorting cars that people buy, they import into the country. You see them sitting in front of trucks, escorting trucks. So as it is, we seem to have politicized everything in this country that nothing has any value anymore. If it was in a sane climb, I'm telling you, first and foremost, the country will fly its flag at half-mast. And then the military will go out, in full force. In full force. We won't sit down here and be talking about what will the military do or what is, no. They would have gone. Like I keep saying, all now. It's the truth. Because, you see, we all sit here where we're laughing. I keep saying it. And I'll repeat it again. We are behaving as if we are inside the Titanic. When the Titanic was sinking, the people underneath saw and they were struggling to get out. The people at the top were busy, merrymenting, enjoying themselves. When this started, when this insurgence started, we all saw it as a northern thing. Those of us in the south, we just said, leave them, let them put themselves in the north. But today it has come to haunt every one of us. They've gotten to Ondo. They've gotten to Oyo. So where else is it safe? They're already in the south, some part of. There was a video I saw last night of a settlement somewhere in Asaba. Fulani settlement. Wow. So tell me, how would the owners of those lands go to claim it back? For me, this whole thing is not about insurgents. It's not about ransom. I think it's about state capture and taking over lands. That's what it is. And we are all quiet. Well, the government is quiet. The government is doing politics. All the government is thinking about is 2027. Nobody's thinking about the life and property of the Nigerian people. Nobody's thinking about the fact that they took a vow on the Nigerian constitution. Because when you and I gave up our sovereignty to them, we gave it up to them for them to protect us. Today, people live in fear. Not knowing when the next strike will take place and who else will be striked. Between Friday and today, there were too many. You saw the one that happened in Niger State. It happened in Katsina State. And these guys are becoming more emboldened and more dangerously wicked.
I'm not daring. Posting on TikTok, flaunting their money.
I'm not even bothered about whatever they post on TikTok. I'm bothered about the fact that Nigerians have been in their numbers. Yes. So people go to sleep these days, their eyes are wide open. You don't sleep with your eyes closed anymore. Maybe it is high time government begins to allow the people to carry. Let Nigerians bear arms to protect themselves. Maybe the government needs to do that.
But we've seen cases where some Nigerians have tried to take up arms, yet they are the ones that are being penalized for it. Like Michael Sunday.
Let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that this whole insurgence going on in this country is politically motivated. And there are people who are benefiting from it. It's like when you say there is a war, there are people who benefit from war.
How so?
What do you mean how so? There are people who sell. Yes. It's their responsibility to sell. There are those who help the military to buy foodstuffs. There are those who provide logistics. So war is a business on its own. So what you have playing out now in Nigeria is business. People are benefiting from it. People are cashing out. Because I don't understand, how can you bring the corpse of a retired general, you bring it to town, nobody arrested them.
Nothing. There should be outrage.
Nothing.
Outrage.
I think there's some level of complacency in this.
There is.
You know, because it's no longer something we will sit back and say, it just happened. No. There seems to be more to it.
Nigerians adapt. We adapt to each and we adapt to anything and
no,
everything.
I take exception to that. Nigerians don't adapt. What is happening is that Nigerians have been, impoverished by their leaders. Poverty is holding the people down. They have used poverty to hold you on the neck. So you can't think straight anymore. The only thing Nigerians think today is how to survive. How to feed. How to, what is going to happen now? How do I feed now? How do I take care of my children? You heard the report that says 60% of Nigerians are in multidimensional poverty. So I ask you, what level are you in? Because what it means is that there are levels now. Yes. You're either in the 0 or you're in 10. That is what it is. In Nigeria today, you no longer have the middle class. What you have is rich and the poor. And the poor is getting poorer.
The rich get
how much is gas?
And the gap is just
how much is petrol?
2,500 naira.
How much? A man who earns 70,000 naira. You don't have electricity. You have to buy petrol, and you buy petrol maybe 1,003. How many liters do you probably buy? 10 liters. That's 13,000 naira. You will still buy electricity because somehow the light will flash. You buy water. You buy foodstuffs. Where are the foodstuffs?
Where?
And then somebody will sit down in National Bureau of Statistics and tell us that inflation has dropped. And I ask, where do they get their figures from?
They just cahoots figures.
Where do they get their figures from? I have kids. I have people go to the market. And, it got to a point, even yesterday, my daughter was like, Daddy, things are getting expensive. Oh. She's just 16. So for her to know that prices are going up shows you that it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. And the core reason why foodstuffs are going high is because of what? Insecurity.
This is really, really sad. And as Nigerians, I really do not know how we'll be able to move from this, because how will this level of insecurity cause so much havoc in the society? No form of deterrence, nothing at all, no fear from these bandits. They just feel like they can come in, waltz in and waltz out of any town at any time and do whatever it is they do. And they always get away with it. So how can we put a stop to this once and for all? Now the youth have gone to the street of Lagos, gone to the street of other states protesting for change. But how far can that go?
For you to resolve the insecurity, first and foremost, the government needs to be sincere and have the political will to fight it. Over time, we have had, there are people sponsoring this insurgents. There are people sponsoring insecurity. Who are these people? Are they untouchable? Are they untouchable? So you start from there. You must start from the problem to find solution. We know what the problem is. Anybody in Nigeria who says he doesn't know what the problem is lying. But we need to go deep and ask ourselves, how did this thing start? Where did it start? Who were those responsible for this thing to start? This banditry and all this thing didn't start overnight.
Yeah.
And then, my brothers in the north, the northern leaders, they need to take a position. It has come to that point where they need to take a position. Because let me tell you, what is happening now is that gradually, Nigerians are beginning to profile themselves. And when this continues, you're going to have anarchy. Because it will get to a point where if I walk into a place, and I see somebody and I say, he looks like a Fulani person, I will not want to deal.
Yeah.
So Nigerian government need to take steps to curb it now. If they don't curb it and this thing spirals out of hand, I am telling you, it will be uncontrollable. Because for everything that happens now, everybody says Fulanis, Fulanis. And I expect the leaders of the Fulanis, those who are prominent among the Fulanis, to come out and be sincere with us and say, look, we condemn this act by our people. We refuse to be profiled like this.
It's a shame they have not done that.
It's really
it's a shame that they haven't done that, because if the government could rein that hard on, I think, the ESN or IPOB when Kanu brought that let's say faction or that division of people into together, if they could track them down and dismantle them and their networks, right? I think this can equally be done. But just like you said, this is completely politically motivated.
Yes.
No, I think, let me make a point there. When you talk about IPOB, you need to understand that IPOB, they were not daring. They were not chasing people away from their ancestral homes. There could have been some level of, madness when we talk about ESN, but it's nothing compared to what is happening in the north now. It is nothing compared to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So now moving into our next topic of discussion, because our time is almost fast spent, talking about IMF interfering and talking to the government about increasing the fuel tax. How can you give your... I don't even know what to say, but I really need to listen to your 2 cents about this.
When you talk about IMF, first and foremost, you ask yourself, who are those responsible for the devaluation of the Naira? The Naira didn't just devalue on its own.
Very true.
You go to IMF, you go to World Bank, you go and collect a loan. See, these international organizations, they're not giving you loan because they believe you will develop your country.
No.
Exactly.
They know that you're going to embezzle it. They know that your leaders will embezzle it.
And yet they keep giving.
Their business, they're running a business.
It's
IMF is running a business, World Bank is running a business. So when they give you this facility, they will come back and say, what are the conditions? They want you to pay them their money. So asking the government to increase tax and all of that is because they are looking at it that they need their money back ASAP. But the government will not admit to that.
there's no effect. You just go, you borrow these monies, right? And then you do not use them for the developmental, the structural, the everything that you said you use them for. You keep on borrowing and borrowing. I think, do you remember when he was coming to power, one of his manifestos, he said he won't even borrow, that he will just do with what we have. Yet, he has borrowed over and over again, without proper usage.
No, you see, the thing is, we need to start from the basics. And the question is, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in on the 29th of May, 2023, he made that infamous statement, subsidy is gone. And he said, oh, I'm going to use the gains from subsidy for this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, please, I'm asking you as a Nigerian, I have a right to ask you, where is the savings from subsidies gone?
We need an account.
We need to know. Because if we know where the savings are and what is being used for, then we'll now begin to say, okay, let us appraise this government to say, what are the promises you made to us?
Exactly.
How much of those promises have you met? I also remember that at a point in time, IMF told Nigerians that the policies of this government is pushing Nigerians into poverty.
Yes, they just asked for taxes. Do you understand?
Very insensitive.
Very insensitive.
See, I always say this to people. I don't think Nigerians don't want to pay tax.
We do, actually.
I don't think Nigerians don't want to pay for services. Nigerians want to pay. But the unfortunate thing is that despite what they pay, they still don't get quality of service they desire.
At all.
They
Life
don't.
expectancy has been reduced.
So it's not about the taxes. It's not about the levies. It's about sincerity of purpose.
Very true.
No reasonable father will go to the bank and borrow money just to splash on his children or to have birthday parties or to dash his neighbors. Because that money you're borrowing that you're dashing your neighbors, you must make plans for it on how to repay it back. So how do you repay back money that you have brought to say you are doing cash transfer?
Buying rice.
You are buying, Nigerians will tell you, Mr. President, we don't have electricity. Give them rice. Oh, Mr. President, the hospitals are not working. Give them rice. So you just have a government that seems to, when I look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I look at the fact that he was among those who told Jonathan to resign.
You say for worse things.
And then I ask myself, where are all these people who gathered at Ojota? Where are all the civil rights? Civil rights? Where are all the NGOs? Where are all the men of God? Where are all the GOs? The same people who gathered at Ojota to tell us that Jonathan is clueless. Where are they? Have they not seen that things have gone worse than it were when Jonathan was there? Yes. Or are they just pretending and satisfying their selfish ends?
Exactly. Including Kyari. Kyari just, I heard you embezzled over 1 trillion naira. So where did the money disappear, or did snake too swallow that money? Or did monkey carry it?
The thing is, because of the kind of political system we run, it is difficult to hold anybody accountable.
Very true.
It is very, very difficult. And so that's why when I see people come out and say, oh, Peter B is leaving this party to this party because he does not believe in process.
These parties have no ideals.
No, he doesn't believe in the process of doing the primary thing. I saw the interview of your Senator Shomole lying all over the place at his age. A man that used activism to become governor.
Yes.
I saw the interview and I was saying, okay, good. This man is telling you that the process that brings you to power makes it difficult for the people to hold you accountable.
Very true.
And we're not thinking out of the box as Nigerians. He was saying that insecurity was at its highest in Anambra State. I said, this man didn't go through history.
The most peaceful.
In 2014, the IG of police for 5 years said that Anambra was the most secured state. So when we open our mouth as leaders to talk, we must talk with facts.
Yes.
And not talk with emotions. Emotion does not put food on the table.
At all.
We must not politicize everything. If you ask government, why is there no electricity? P2B. Why are the roads not working? P2B. If every other administration is doing what this government is doing, we won't have a Nigeria to hold.
We won't have a Nigeria today. And which brings me to say that Nigerians are really, really doing a whole lot to just put their minds and their thoughts together, because it takes a lot to actually live in a country like this and to have a sane mind. But you said in one of your episode, or one of the times you came to the studio, that most of these things the government do to we Nigerians are the way they see us, the way they have fathomed us in their heads to be. You only see someone who is stupid and say some kind of things that you expect them to believe it. But right now, we as Nigerians are just saying in one voice that we want change. And that change is starting now. Thank you so much, Mr. Chilaka, for being here and doing justice to this said topic.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And to all our amazing viewers out there, thank you.